Do you feel like you are a completely different person than who you were a decade ago? Do you feel like you are losing yourself on this spiritual journey? This journey that seekers go through and this change that we experience is like a snake that is shedding its skin. Although it is uncomfortable, it is necessary. That emptiness where suddenly your relationships, your hobbies, and your interests, even your identity itself, seems meaningless. If you are going through this, know that you are not alone. In this video, I will cover the 5 unmistakable signs of transformation that might surprise you. Each of these reveals how discomfort is not failure but evidence that you are evolving beyond your egoic limitations. The spiritual path requires us to let go of things that no longer serve us in order to make room for our authentic self. And as we go through these 5 signs, you will realize how these are not obstacles, but these are simply the stepping stones to reach our ultimate destination. First, let's talk about when detachment feels like disconnectedness and even depression. Have you ever felt a growing emptiness about some of the things that you were passionate about before? You work hard for a promotion, but when it finally comes, the celebration feels hollow. You buy that item that you've been wanting for months, but the thrill fades within days. The praise and recognition you receive no longer satisfies something deep within you. If this resonates, you might be experiencing the first signs of spiritual transformation. This is known as vairagya or dispassion in Advaita Vedanta. Now, from the surface, this looks like something which is negative, something which is bad, but it is absolutely not. This is one of the most profound qualities that is required in a spiritual seeker. Dispassion is not about losing interest, but it is about being connected to who we are and being as we are without being affected by the external world. This is a very profound quality that we must cultivate. And if we are experiencing this, we must embrace this and we must pursue this with all our effort. So this is the first sign, which is dispassion towards the world. In Advaita Vedanta, this dispassion represents a necessary stage in development. Vairagya describes mindful detachment from the worldly desires. It is not avoidance of life, but it is a maturation that distinguishes between transient pleasures and lasting fulfillment. As attachment to impermanent things fall away, space opens for experiencing your true nature as that infinite pure consciousness. But what makes this stage challenging for most of us is that we are standing between two worlds here. At this point, we are no longer fulfilled and we are no longer happy with the external world and with external achievements. And at the same time, we are not established in that infinite beingness or that infinite consciousness. So it is sort of a difficult phase that we go through where we are in a state of confusion. But this is a necessary stage that we must evolve out of and we must accept this. Now let's come to the second sign, which is you feel disconnected from your relationships. Now, our relationships with people around us and with the world and reality that is around us is a most important thing. And we need to nurture this and we need to work on this. But when we are on this journey of seeking and understanding this reality, and as we try to progress on this path of spirituality, one of the stages that we come to is a place where we feel disconnected in our relationships, whether it is our close relationships with our family or with friends. The sense of connectedness and that sense of passion that there was before sort of fades away, and our relationships sometimes may feel empty. The connection that we are developing with the greater whole, with that infinite, paradoxically can create a distance in the most intimate bonds. From the perspective of Advaita Vedanta, this again makes sense as our identification slowly transitions from this individual egoic identity towards our true being. Naturally, whatever was connected to this ego will begin to lose its meaning. This is why we experience this disconnectedness in our relationships. Here, you are no longer seeking validation, distraction, or identity reinforcement. Instead of ending, relationships typically transform. Many people in the spiritual path form deeper connections with fewer people. That is why a community of people who are going through this together is essential. And this is one of the main reasons why we created the Advaita Conscious Society. But again, if you closely observe this phenomenon and if you are experiencing this, what is actually happening is that although many relationships feel disconnected and we do not feel that interest to engage with a lot of people in a lot of places all the time, the core relationships, the important relationships seem to grow deeper, and we feel that sort of oneness with our closed ones. I observed this when I was looking at my family, looking at my daughter when I was sitting at my home. I strongly got a feeling that literally I was one with them. Literally, I was one with my daughter. And through this journey of understanding reality, we come to see that everyone and everything is one at the fundamental level. So, although relationships might feel empty and we might lose that passion initially, what is actually happening is that we are coming to a deeper understanding of what reality is. And we are understanding the true relationship between us and this world. Now, the third sign is a loss of identity. Your old labels, the job, the status, the roles, all seem meaningless. If you are experiencing this, again, this is a sign of spiritual evolution. As Vedanta says, our identity is not found in attributes, qualities, or achievements. These are temporary expressions like waves on the ocean of your being. Your fundamental nature is that consciousness itself, the awareness, witnessing all changing phenomena while remaining unchanged. Have you actually recognized this? That you one day stood in front of the mirror and you could no longer recognize the person who was staring back at you. We come to a place where we do not recognize ourselves. Usually, when someone asks, "Who are you?" or "What do you do?" we define our existence, we define our identity with some sort of labels. I will say, I'm an architect, I'm an author, I have done that, I have done this. This is how we usually define ourselves. And of course, we can continue to define ourselves this way for society. But at the same time, we go through this phase where we inherently understand the meaninglessness of these labels, of these roles that we assign ourselves. And when these roles and labels lose their meaning and lose their identity, it might feel disorienting at first. We might feel a sense of emptiness with the world because there is no familiar reference points anymore. We cannot stand and we cannot identify ourselves with these labels anymore because we know that those are not true and those are not ultimate. But at the same time, we are not fully established in who we are as that infinite. So again, this phase might be uncomfortable. This sign might be uncomfortable. But if we go deep and if we try to understand the true meaning behind it, we will again find it profound. We are slowly disidentifying ourselves from all that we are not to recognize who we are in our essence. Adi Shankara in his Nirvana Shatakam says, Mano buddhya hankara chittani naham, nacha shrotra jihve, nacha grana netre, nacha vyoma bhumir, na tejo na vayu, chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. He slowly disidentifies from everything that he is not, from the body, from the mind, from the five elements, and from everything. And later he comes to who he is. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I am the nature of pure consciousness, pure bliss, and I am truly infinite. So, throughout this journey, as we disidentify, we slowly come to who we are as that infinite. And that is when we begin to experience true fulfillment. And to do this, we need patience and persistence. With this, let's come to the fourth sign, where you seek more stillness and silence. As you begin this journey and as you progress more and more, you will begin to seek silence more and more. You will want to talk less with people. You would like to engage with the world less, and you would like to go inward more and more. At this point, you no longer feel the need to constantly talk or engage or seek simulation. Silence feels natural and solitude seems beautiful. And this is a very wonderful place to be. If you are beginning to love solitude and being alone, this is a profound sign of maturity. From the surface, it might look like we are going in the wrong direction. For the outside world, this might even look like depression, but this is actually not. This is a very, very evolved state where we begin to enjoy our own company. Because at this point, we will begin to understand who we are. And once we understand who we are, we technically do not need anyone else or anything else. And it is, like I said, a beautiful place to be. And we need to embrace this completely and move ahead in our journey. With this, let's come to the fifth and the final sign. This is where time feels unreal to us. Here you experience moments where past and future seem irrelevant and only the present exists. And just think about this. Do you feel like whatever you have experienced in the past, let's say a few years ago or even a few months ago, it all feels like a dream, it feels like a simulation, a mirage which technically didn't happen? I feel this more and more every single day. Whatever I have experienced a year back or even a few months ago seems like they're all a part of a dream experience which never happened. Most of us go through this. Most of us begin to sense the invalidity of time and how only the present moment is real. The things from past and different events and different circumstances that used to trouble us and that used to keep us awake at night begin to lose their power over us as we disidentify from time and disengage from past and future. This is again a very good sign, and this is again a phase that we go through in this journey. So, with all this, let us understand something profound. All of these signs might seem like limitations and might seem like disconnectedness at first, but here we are moving away from limitation and towards our true nature of infinitude. These are the necessary steps, these are the necessary phases that we need to go through in our journey to get to the ultimate reality. This might create discomfort, but this is necessary to expand into your true nature. As these signs begin to appear in your life, be aware and recognize what is happening. You are letting go of everything that you are not to come to who you are. And to make this journey possible in a harmonious way and in a systematic way, we have a community called the Advaita Conscious Society, which is based on the principles of Vedanta and conscious creation. Conscious creation is about making our ideal life possible and living a life of fulfillment. If you're interested in this, then check out the link in the description to watch this short movie that we have made on the conscious creation. And later you can also join us at ACS. And next, you can check out this important video that I had made on how God changed my life. Subscribe to Advaita to wake up. Shivoham.